True crime, grapevine, all the time. Hi. That's me trying to come up with my own sort of theme song. Doesn't have very good rhythm. If you have any idea for a theme song, write it in the comments or send it to me. I need to put my Gmail account, I think, in our community section. All right. Sorry, I've got that nose thing, you know, like when you drink and it gets funny feeling. Tasting. I don't taste my nose. That's silly. All right, guys. We're still in episode 36. This is covering November 12th through the 18th. We have, let's see, I have 1, 2. I'm going to give you guys, look at me. Oh, for sure. Let's do it this way. I am going to give you, I messed up the order from the intro. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 of our cases that are, kind of fast all together. How does that sound? That sounds great, Patty. Thank you. I think so, too. All right, we're going to talk about some updates that you need to know about. Debbie Collier is my first one. They have decided it is not a homicide, it is a suicide. Yes, apparently she drove an hour away. She dressed up in clothes she never wears. Maybe because she was going to burn herself, because that's how she did it. She died through inhalation of smoke of gaseous emissions that were superheated. As one does. You know, one self-emulation, is that how we say it? The only people that she didn't throw gasoline on herself. Supposedly she used a torch lighter. It is sus, people. She wore clothes. Her son said she hadn't worn shorts in 5 years, and she was dressed for a game, because that's what you do when you're going to commit suicide. You dress for the game. You drive an hour out of town. Oh, and she had oxy in her system. What was Amanda addicted to? Remember, she had her boyfriend had a horrible drug problem. I don't think it was Oxycontin, was it? Was it Oxy? That's weird that she would choose to take the same drug. I don't know that. That's my supposition. That is all complete. I don't know what he was. I don't know about the drug substances. I know that the daughter was living with the son, sister and brother. I know that they moved back. She moved back to town to live with her boyfriend and was in town for 2 days before her mother went missing and died, and gave her $3,000 almost. But that is a coincidence, because really her mom wanted to shake off her mortal coil, I guess. I don't know, people. It's weird. I don't buy it. I mean, who cares? I'm just some weird YouTuber with a teeny tiny true crime channel. I do not. No. Oh. And how do we know? Oh, her daughter went on things and was saying, I do not advocate for going after people, but come on. Her daughter goes on all these shows and said, she was giving away everything. And she did, oh, you didn't say that at first. Whatever, girl. You live with yourself. Good luck. Better hope there aren't any such things as ghosts. That's what I have to say, because y'all gonna be haunted. I do not. I think there's no way. And she chose to do it when she had a rental. I'm going to drive my rental to a town that I never go to and I have no emotional attachment to. And I'm going to off myself in the most weirdest, horrific way that, like, Tibetan monks do. But I'm going to do it half. And, I guess if you were burning yourself, you would rip off your clothes because they were burning you. Like, it would hurt. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. To me, that seems like the weirdest way. That's very painful. The autopsy, I don't know if it was released all the way, but was the oxy an overdose? Or, no, they said what killed her was the inhalation of that's an awful way to die. I don't even, what, would she have looked that up on her computer? How would you even know how to do that? That is not normal. That is not, no, women take pills. Like, an overdose of oxy would have done it. Then that would have been right. But just some oxy, to take the edge off when you off yourself? And you do it in a ravine? There is no, nope. I don't believe it. I'm noping that one. All right. That was case 6, and then we've got 7 and 8 here. 7 is Troy Driver in Nevada. Troy Driver was the alleged, or is the alleged killer of night. Speaking of offing himself, apparently he tried to this past July in jail, but no such luck. You are going to go to trial. He then, after trying to, he didn't like jail. He then, after trying to take himself out, then he felt he was incompetent, of course, because, I don't know, are they watching Lori? And, no, competent, going to trial, haha. That's not really a haha. Naomi Ariane, she was I'm not sure if she was 18 or 19. I'm sorry, it's in my file. I need to make some quick notes of everything. I am so sorry. I should have written down exactly how old she was. I know I have not a huge file, but I mean, I have a file on her. She was 18 or 19. She had a job at Panasonic factory. She was waiting in a Walmart parking lot, which she did every day. And what we said we could learn from that is, if you got to park your car in a parking lot, walk into the building to wait for your ride to come. There was a shuttle that picked her up every morning, but she was in her car and she would listen to podcasts or listen to her music or write her messages. She was trying to use her time waiting wisely, and some monster saw her, allegedly Troy Driver, and walked right up to her car, which her brother, like our first case this episode about the Idaho 4 in Moscow, Idaho, that were unalived, and one of the sisters is looking through all the video. My sorority sister, her sister. Just like that, Naomi's brother was combing, he was the one that's Walmart, let's get the footage, blah, blah, blah. We got to find it. Made them look. And they saw the person walk up to her car, sort of force her over and drive her away. And that's how they broke the case. That and one of Troy Driver's co-workers said he was spending a lot of time. They did something with these mines, and he was off in an isolated area, and then it led to her remains being found. Anyways, yeah, he's going to go to trial. He's competent. He's just, he's just not happy he got caught, and now he feels sad for himself. And that is so sad. Too bad. All right, that was 6, 7. Here's 8. We have the case of another wonderful young gentleman, Marcus Spanevelo. He lived in Florida, but worked in Alabama, and he was dropping off his daughter to his ex. They were not married, but they had a baby together, Sailor. She was 4, I believe, at the time, in Destin, Florida. And she lived in Vero Beach, though. And usually I think they made the switch off halfway in Destin. But this time, he drove to her beach area, and thank goodness there was a camera from far away. But apparently he rolled up. Even though it was public, it was late and dusk, and not a lot of people were in the parking lot. And he rolled right up, and he was going to do work. So he had a work trailer, and you can see he puts her into the back of the trailer and then keeps his daughter, does not make the exchange, because he takes Cassie, Carly, which was the mother of Sailor, and they find her in the house that he's helping renovate, where he's living and working in Alabama, in a shallow grave in a barn. Her body is sent to, then he runs with Sailor to Tennessee, gets caught, gets extradited back to Florida. In the meantime, Alabama does the autopsy, sending her body to Huntsville where they do toxicology and stuff, and it comes back they don't know. They can't say manner and cause of death because they didn't find any outstanding. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, you don't put yourself in a shallow grave, so I think it could be. But anyways, if you watched a Duty Run, they talked about a copy investigation. Where the findings from an autopsy basically say, like, the cops are you're gonna have to do further investigation. It is, it's like something under investigation, blah blah blah. So inconclusive, I believe, something until it's under investigation. Basically, the cops are gonna have to say because there wasn't enough physical forensic evidence. So yeah. So why am I telling you about this now? Sorry, I was waxing angrily about this case. So yeah, Alabama just now is subpoenaed Marcus's hair, saliva, blood, like his DNA. Yeah, they're doing that now. I mean, it's been over a year and a half, but yeah, maybe we should get that from him. That might be good. So I guess they'll get that from him. I don't know why they waited so long. I put that it's slow as molasses. Don't get off in Alabama. It might be Sweet Home Alabama, but it's not Sweet Death. That's for damn sure. Okay, so we don't know. I wrote that, like, did they find DNA? They must be asking because they have to have something to test it against, right? Is that what's happening? I don't know. It's very hard when you have interstate issues with, like, the families were both from Florida. She was kidnapped and abducted in Florida. The mom was. She was buried. We don't know where she was unalived, but she was buried and found in Alabama. And then he ran to Tennessee where he was arrested. So it was crazy there. He is of Brazilian descent. Brazil, if he could have gotten home with the little girl, he could have kept her there. Even after a murder, he would not have been extraditable because he is a Brazilian national. So let's just be glad he didn't get to an airport with his baby girl. Sailor does live, I believe, now with one of her aunts. But that is a horrible case. We will keep on it. Marcus deserves our attention as he goes down for his crimes. All right. Speaking of, so we had competence with the Troy driver from Naomi Arian's case, and he is competent. And we have one more. Guess who else is competent? We have an update. It's no longer Groundhog Day. Judge Boyce in Idaho, in Rexburg, Idaho, has made some decisions about the Vallow Daybell case, and he has decided, well, he hasn't decided. So Lori saw, not just, this time the prosecution brought in a special, expert in, competency, especially regarding malingering. This forensic psychologist was the same one that was the person who was looking at and testing and evaluating the guy. I believe it was the guy who abducted. There are so many smart girls. That's weird that have gotten abducted or killed. The little blonde girl who was kept as a religious sex slave in California, or Utah. It was Utah. So that same man was evaluating that guy, and it turned out even after 8 years, finally, he was faking it. He was malingering, I believe. Anyways, so that guy, malingering isn't overly common. Sophisticated malingering by manipulative people. And I think Lori's met her match because, she was found competent, trials back on, and because she's found competent and trials back on, the whole idea about Chad needing to sever, Boyce came back and was like, hey, nope, till death do you part. You're together in this, Chad. I mean, we know they're going to point fingers at each other, but He's going to say she made, I mean, I don't know what she's going to say. But we know he's going to say, she made me do it. She didn't, I had no idea I was under her spell because she was hot and look at me, I'm a loser. Whatever, Chad. That is when forensics of text messages and written messages, that it's all going to tell the tale. I don't think whatever she has going on was good enough. I mean, you obviously knew something when you were talking about the pet cemetery and you had to burn things, and oh, Kylie just happened to be in your burn pit. We get it, Chad. Anyways, so his case is not severed. They will, I'm assuming they're both going to go together in October of this coming year, because his trial date, they had asked for longer time, and Lori's had to stop, start. I think there's a lot of legal people who are saying that Boyce is making bad decisions, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm just an angry, Karen. I don't know, people. I think I have a slight grasp. What I also understand is I think this case is horrific enough and the evidence will be substantial enough that these decisions are not going to be big appellate decisions. Let's hope. But the lawyers think that these are appellate problems. The non-severance, like making Chad wait so long, and then Lori not getting her trial fast enough, though I don't know how competency stays it, unstays it. But, I mean, there's some issues there, so I don't think they'll get off, but I don't know if they'll get an appeal. The religious thing still worries me a little bit, though. Not their religion doesn't worry me, but I'm worried that something about what they're saying or what Lori specifically, I don't know. It seems there's too many people who want everything still sealed. So we are hoping to hear more about what's going on in this case. We'll get a trial date soon. But hey, I think it's good. We've got positive movement forward. No severance. And so they'll stay together, which I think is more interesting, at least. I think it's efficient and effective. And why have those poor people have to, the victims' family have to come and twice go through all this crap and maybe get a different ending? No, I think they should. I personally just think it's better that they go together, and that like Kay and Larry Woodcock only have to go through this and Crusha once instead of twice. Why should they be tortured? And then once it's over too, they can finally get the evidence back, which is horrible that their grandchildren's bodies are evidence, but they would like to give them a burial. So that is that.